Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another scene set in the Chronicles of Darkness Vampire Requiem. London. Tonight, we set our scene once again in the city of London. Julian, having been set up for a meeting of Ducas Armitage, scion of the Invictus, by a Carthian of all people. A genre.
I believe, I forgot her name. The mediator that helped set up this particular meeting. Is she going to be here as well? Or this is going to be just between me and Armitage?
Polly has stated she'll be there.
Okay.
She was the one who gave you the call.
Yep, then Julian will arrive at the meeting place that they've been designated to at the exact time that Noah's asked to be there. To be polite and hopefully not raise any type of suspicion.
You are heading to Tower 42. Skyscraper in London. That used to be the tallest building in London. You're going to be going to one of its many floors, upon which is a restaurant that has been closed for the evening, with only a reservation for you, Polly, and Mr. Armitage.
Julian will go to that particular floor, look around, being relatively obvious with his presence. So he's not seeming like he's not supposed, making like he's supposed to be there. Is there anybody that kind of cuts him off or meets him, or the door is just open for him to use?
The building's very large. Some of the floors are still in use. So there is still a presence. But there is still like a reception presence, security presence. But doors remain open.
Hmm. And he opens the door and looks around, see if there's any tables for a center place for him to be at. If not, he'll open the door, close it, just kind of make some noise to make his presence known.
We head up to floor 4. There is a staff restaurant for the various administrators, office workers, managers, and corporate execs that work here. It's actually quite nice looking. It's quite sleek, classy even. And sitting on a table overseeing a rather lackluster view. Holly and Ducas. Holly is, as you've seen her before, she doesn't look that much different from when you last saw her. Her hair is tied up, but it was quite wavy. A short purple scarf around her neck, rather simple, understated clothing. And then there is Ducas, who wears a black peacoat and formal black trousers. Looks business casual. A certain degree of class to him. He has he's got short brown hair. He looks he looks quite chiseled and well cut, you would say.
Julian will nod to both parties and take a seat.
Mr. Ducas and Miss Polly will look at you and say, Dr. Goodman, glad you could make it.
Likewise. I'm happy both of you can be here tonight. Said.
I'm merely here to facilitate a healthy conversation.
I had great confidence that you will do so. Said Mr. Armitage.
Armitage will stand up, lean over the table, and offer to shake your hand.
So Julian will grasp it firmly to shake it.
Dr. Goodman, I've heard of you. Pleasure to finally meet you in the flesh, so to speak.
Terrible things, I assume, with a small grin on his face.
Oh, only good, only good. However, I believe there is an entire firm named after you.
Yeah, he nods to that.
Quite the legacy.
I try to do it justice.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. Although I heard from the good Lady Mai here that you wish to have a word with me.
Yes, there is an entity that seems to be interested in you. I'm here to convey that message to you.
His head tilts and his brow furrows slightly. Curiosity.
So he will. Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Whoever might that entity be?
I'm not sure exactly. Though they were also interested in a Nanette Zaki and a Jean-Marc Boldvin. So you're not being singled out.
And no connection to Miss Zaki. In fact, I've only know of name in passing some blood witch. Although Mr. Bolvin, I'm far more well acquainted with.
So you can confer with him that I gave him basically the same information I'm giving you now, and I am forthright with it as well.
I see. Well, and what is it that this entity specifically wants from any of us? It is quite the. It seems to be quite the essential quorum this so-called entity is gathering.
I'm not sure. It has obsidian skin and gold eyes. Oh, I don't think it's one of the shadow people. It can interact with mortals, but they don't seem to realize that they're with a supernatural. They respond like he's perfectly mortal. And the shadow things can't do that, not without taking some type of meat puppet. And that's not the case in this situation.
Armitage's expression does not change too much, but Lady Mai's does. Mentioning the shadow people, referencing them, causes a smile to evaporate from her face quite rapidly, and you notice. Although she maintains a friendly expression, she has definitely become more tense.
I wish to make that clarification because some of my compatriots assumed it was one of them, and it's come to my attention that it's not the case. Whether that brings you peace or not, I hope it does. But like I said, I am forthright with the information I give to the person I speak to. He resides within a particular club in this part of London. So it seems to be relatively established, though I've never heard of him before.
Can you be
I
certain that it is not one of them?
Yes, because how he responded to me when I used the beast, the connection wasn't familiar, at least as I would assume with one of the shadow things. It was absolutely alien. Said it doesn't have a beast like we do. It's something else. and they feel more like they're stained or they're marked by something.
You said they resided at a club. What was this?
Club of name I've forgotten.
It's called the Melting Pot.
The Melting Pot, yeah. So the Melting Pot, which was that North London?
I believe so, somewhere northwest.
Yeah. The Melting Pot of Northern London. It seems to be a place of a mixture of modern club life and, let's just say, middle-aged Arabic design.
No, this is Indian subculture.
Indian subculture, my bad.
It's very well. It would be subculture, I suppose. It was very Hindi.
So, he seems to be interested in you three individuals. Said we agreed on the terms of if I were to contact you.
You tell everyone you know
That he wishes to speak with you. He would help me find particular, well, not particular people, but a particular event. I'm worried about a masquerade breach involving humans at a particular night auction. Make sure that I squash us. Said I need access. He has access.
I see. Which means you want information from me to provide to them.
It just has to be, let's just say, relevant, but not necessarily important. He never specified exactly what he wanted to know.
Mr. Armitage strokes his chin rather thoughtfully for a moment. Given we are creatures of secrecy, I suppose in many ways any information would be valuable. I am willing to trade information non-pertinent to my interests in exchange for a favor.
Depends on the favor.
A minor debt.
I said, I'm all up for trading boons, but I do like to know specifics if I can. I may not be the best person to be dealing with maybe with the task that you want me to do, but I'm willing to find somebody who can. Knowing something like that ahead of time makes my job a bit easier to assist and make sure that our deal is honest and beneficial for both.
You are connected to a rather well-known firm, of which I would like to establish contact with.
So interesting. Said, wishing to branch your financial gains and influence within the medical community.
I deal primarily in electronics.
Still possibly relevant. Technology is very much important. No, I must ask, and I will bring up the name of the group Cynthia told me about, that she wants me basically just to blow up one of their buildings or cause a big mess. Are you associated with? It brings up that particular name.
Sorry, who wanted you to involve, I think?
There's a warehouse she wants me attacked that might be trading illegal guns, and he may be connected to a rival company. So I just want to make sure he's not associated with that rival company.
Ah. No? Why?
Because they're gonna have an accident in a few days. Said, I'd hate for you to be involved in such a thing.
My raises an eyebrow. You can tell that she is scrawling this information down in the notepad of her mind.
It says, I hope this is confidential, as he looks over to her.
I'm merely curious as to what would drive you to make such a prediction.
He said, sources within sources, and maybe a little bit of personal intuition.
I see, well, I certainly hope everything turns out okay. It would be very unfortunate if there was any fallout from such an event.
That would be quite a predicament, but time will only tell. As he kind of notes in his mind whether she's being relatively just, catty, or she might be directly involved. But if you're not involved with that particular party, then I have no reason not to take you on your offer.
Then it is settled. Information for access. The foundation of many strong friendships, I find. In both my prior life and this one.
Excellent. It's good to deal with people that can do business. It's been a rarity these days.
I will send you the information via text or letter so that your employers have something more concrete to satisfy themselves with. We wouldn't want them denying you based off of hearsay now.
So, much appreciated.
At least with myself, you can definitively claim you've done your due diligence.
Julian nods. This has been a bizarre situation, let me be honest. So especially since they didn't specify what they wanted to know from you three particular individuals. I only hope they don't have some type of arcane way to gather more than I provide.
London is a very bizarre city. There are many interesting things hidden beneath the surface, I've found.
Indeed.
It's wondrous what you can find when you just do a little bit of digging.
Indeed. No different from hearing something versus listening something. Focus does a lot.
Perhaps at a later date, we may be able to speak again, Dr. Goodwin.
I would enjoy that. I've been told I need to get out more and to the people.
Well, I am something of a small-time detective myself. Maybe I could help you discern the true nature of your employers in time.
I would very much appreciate that. They have been nagging at me with many questions. So I must say I'm surprised, at least with some of the people I've talked with, mainly Baldwin, that they don't seem as... Well, they're more surprised about my honesty. And they make it very clear that apparently kindred betray kindred to all types of things for power. You would think we'd have at least some type of kinship that keeps us together.
I must admit it is very unsettling to see one of our kind beholden to powers that haven't been defined to them. If nothing else, I would like to see the truth uncovered on your behalf.
So, likewise. If I could tell people more, I would. Just simply lack the capability.
You can make a wit sympathy roll if you like. -3 dice, because that is Lady Mai's manipulation rating.
Let's see. I think that is my pool. So let me check. That is my pool, so I do not notice her machinations.
Okay. You might spend a willpower if you like, but if not.
I actually do have willpower to burn, so yeah, why not?
Let me guess, you're grabbing fat stacks of cash from your...
And would my heightened senses come into play?
Yeah, I am. Generous donations. Ah!
You rolled 9 dice.
No, that was for my hunting roll.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's alright. But yeah, would my heightened senses come into play?
Heightened senses? No.
Okay. Got a success.
Okay. There is definitely there is definitely an ulterior motive to what she's saying. Just like the slight inflection of her words and how she speaks.
So
You're not sure if
I
it's
sense
self-interest or if it's in the interest of another, but you know she's not just doing this out of concern for yourself. She's definitely doing this.
so I sense motive. I just don't know exactly what the motive is.
Yes,
So
definitely think that she's not. It might be out of self-interest. It might be on behalf of another figure, but it's definitely not on your behalf.
well, unfortunately, Julian's really only good about being scared of the information out, which he doesn't necessarily want to sour this relationship quite yet. So
It's the problem with invoking fear in everything. As a wise
yeah.
virtue said, when fear is your only answer, all of your problems start screaming.
He will just he'll look at her, pleasantly. Because till this moment, she's all been kind. And I gotta say, unless these people are gonna attack him in the day, he's been through worse. And we'll just carry on the conversation, like he did notice. And as the conversation goes on, he says, "Well," I said, "if that is sufficient with everyone," as he looks over to Mai, so I think this meeting is adjourned.
That's all. It was an absolute pleasure to meet you, Doctor. If there's anything else you happen to occur in the future that might be provided by my services, please feel free to give me a call.
So, will do. And he'll shake Armitage's hand, and he'll look over to Mai and says, "And thank you very much for your assistance in this." And he'll go over to shake her hand as well. So when he shakes her hand, may I roll a strength and intimidation to kind of squeeze tightly?
Yeah. It's minus her resolve, which is 2.
All right. It's 3. And my intimidation is 3 as well. So that's 6 minus 2, which is 4. And yeah, I wouldn't consider this. He hasn't challenged my authority, so my specialty won't come into play.
No.
And yeah, like I said, I got a willpower to burn. I'll spend another willpower. Two successes.
Okay. As she shakes your hand in the squeeze when you release your grip, you notice that she does subtly but gently hold the hand that you almost crushed in her other hand.
And said with that, he will, again, nod respectfully to everyone before he leaves. And as he descends the stairs, or descends the tower, really, he'll get on his phone and call Thistle.
The phone rings once, twice, 3 times, and right on cue, your sire picks up.
And says, "Thistle, I'd like to give a report."
Dr. Goodman, It's just a report of a particularly sensitive nature.
So, nothing too sensitive at the moment. My task dealing with the unknown entity is about to be completed, and further information will be provided. So, I said I also will be making my move on a particular, let's just say, naughty rival in a few days as well. May be compromised. Potentially have ghouls or Julian Kindred as backup, if you may.
If I may advise you, Dr. Goodman, in the future to perhaps eschew from using such terms over the phone.
So I have said I am by myself. This is relatively a secure line, but I will take the advice in consideration, ma'am. It is right to be cautious.
I don't believe you're using a burner, are you?
I am.
You are? Oh, in which case, I actually wouldn't say that then. I was under the impression you were just using a regular phone.
No. I do have a phone for personal things and for business.
Keep in mind that burner phones get burnt, so you'll need to replace
Yeah.
them fairly regularly.
Yeah, that is always the issue.
Yeah, in which case she won't say that then. Because she'll recognize the number as
Not
either from
the
a burner or one she does not recognize, which indicates it's a burner.
Yeah, he will continue on and say, I've also had concerns of one of our Ordo members.
Which ones?
Mr. Hartwell see.
Sorry, you note the plural.
Yeah. He says Mr. Hartwell has been acting, at least in my opinion, out of character. Dealing with. Have you been seeing the reports about the Gorgon sisters we found?
I have not.
Well, apparently one of the Archons had an issue involving a particular place called the House. I joined with a, let's just say, scouting party, and we came to a realization that three kindred in a parody of the Gorgon sisters from myth existed in that place. It said they seemed to be relatively powerful and of age. And out of character, Hartwell did not try to negotiate a deal with them when they made it available to us. I've known him always being very mercenary, but his response came off to me as scared almost. Maybe with the, let's just say, the setback of the war, he is more cautious now. But something gives me the feeling that maybe he owes the Archon and its people some type of debt. That, or they just simply put the fear of God in him, which he's a powerful member of the Ordo, and I don't want anybody and we don't need any more potential, well, let's just say, turncoats within our midst.
I will have these individuals noted and have them mentioned to the Kogan.
I could be simply being paranoid, but to your point, like earlier, this time I'm being more cautious. We don't want another situation like last time. That will be much harder to recover from compared to what it was back then.
We definitely do not.
And oh, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, then Dr. Goodman, is that all?
Oh, I'll be presenting a breakthrough to the Ordo very soon.
That is good to hear.
Also, a Miss Nananzaki is aware of the worm nest that I am protecting, and apparently aware of its nature.
It's generally wise to assume that Mrs. Zaki and those of her ilk are informed on a great number of things.
We wish to establish a trade agreement with the Worm's Nest. I denied her. But I would like to have your professional opinion about one of her statements. She was willing to remove the entity from the Worm's Nest, but not the power that is bound to the land. Is that possible?
It is not my area of expertise, and I would not give an ignorant statement.
I was wise with my decision regardless. So we have more than enough resources to keep that nest under control.
Yes, although do expect some manner of retaliation, Doctor.
So,
Miss Zaki is not known for her moderation.
I'll keep that in mind.
Like many crone, she is very much a fanatic. Although she hides the fact better than most.
Well, as far as I could tell, all that involve themselves with traditional blood sorcery seem to be extremist. It must come with the nature of the thing.
Responsibility carries with it many burdens.
So, indeed. And I assume, on a personal note, things have been going well with my sister and you. He's asking if the trading with Cynthia and her had been going well.
Who, sorry?
I thought her name was Cynthia, my sister.
My sister's name is Laurel.
Laurel. Why do I keep thinking that? You gotta write that down.
You really
Yes.
should. That's her sister, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, he asked if the Laurel's trading has been going well.
As expected.
Good.
Is that all, Dr. Goodman?
Yes, ma'am.
Then I look forward to hearing from you again in the near future.
So I plan to bring results onto the Ordo soon.
Good evening.
Evening. And
That's something connection.
and with that, Julian will hang up and remove the battery from the phone. Then put it back in his pocket.
Assuming you make your way back to the Meltingpot.
Yep.
You make your way back to the club. Has much the same vibe as you had when you last went there. Bright lights and gold-plated figures. And it doesn't take too long, about a few minutes after your entry, that a very similar-looking gentleman with black skin, black hair, and yellow eyes approaches you. The same one as before.
Snap. The Obsidian Man.
Do you have what we asked for?
And he says, I have spoken to all the individuals you wish me to speak to, and I have information pertaining of their nature.
Do speak.
And he'll basically give off the spiel that they all have asked him to give off. Though he will bring up with Armitage. We'll be sending a personal message to him at a later date. And he'll make sure to give that to him when that message is received.
Because you've collaborated with these kindred to, I wouldn't say withhold the truth, but definitely to manipulate this this gentleman. Would you like to make the manipulation plus subterfuge roll? You've organised this manipulation in advance, so you will get +2 dice to it.
Alright.
His wits is 3 dice, so you lose 1 dice total.
Okay. Manipulation is 2, and my subterfuge is 1. So, yay for having max 7 willpower, so down to 4. Four successes.
You're very convincing. And he does not seem to question what you're saying. And none of what you're saying is an outright lie either. It's just information that could possibly be perceived as not very wrong. But you are very good at marketing what you're selling to him.
Once he gets done, once Julian finishes his statements, he says, "Okay, that is not sufficient enough."
I shall check with my colleague.
It would have helped if you gave me more specifics. This is the best I could get.
My colleague does not desire to be in the spotlight. He says he tilts his head upwards, TV lights blaring down on you both as he's sitting up on the fifth or so.
As I can respect a person wishing their privacy, the generic statement is talk to them and gather information that isn't very, let's just say, illuminating on my part.
You have upheld your word to us, but you are not in a position to dictate to us how we should operate. We'll be back in 10 minutes.
He nods. Is Julian being surrounded by cronies right now?
No. There are a couple of guards to keep an eye on you. And not everyone in this room is completely human.
So,
Some of
Julian.
them have there are a couple of figures with the same dark skin as this gentleman. Another one that looks feral looking, incisors for teeth, and of a large bulbar size.
So,
And another that looks far too perfect a human to actually be human.
Julian takes notice of them, just his eyes kind of switching in between them. He waits patiently, though. He is mentally getting himself prepared for violence if need be.
Some minutes pass. And who approaches you? About 5 minutes later. It's not the man with obsidian skin and gold eyes, but in fact, a very different looking woman. Rather tall, short black hair. Tiger-like fur covering her body. Large cat-like ears. An elaborate red dress and heels, and distinct, very distinct orange eyes of a great cat. She very much appears as a human tigress. just
Julian does his best not to narrow his eyes because he recognizes her from Elysium, and he remembers they use a name about her because specifically I did believe they bring up that she was a fae, but he doesn't know what that really means.
this is a first one.
He will say, because I believe literally what they said, the person I was trying to, that has a lots of control of this particular event was the Tiger Lady or the Tigress.
Well, Julian can only work with what he remembers. Unfortunately, in this case, he doesn't know a whole lot. But she'll just sit down. Her clawed hands tap against the table for a second. As her inhuman eyes gauge you, she gives you a sweet but intimidating smile. With her fangs. You can see her eyes sort of they shift rapidly but very slightly. She takes you on. And then something, you're not sure what it is because you haven't done anything, but something causes her to chuckle lightly. So you are the gentleman that would seek my invitation.
He nods. And he'll just straight up say, I've seen you before.
I'm something of a celebrity in your circles.
I see. Well, madam, I said, as the reason why we're even meeting each other in the first place, you have access to a particular event I wanted to be a part of.
Dragons and their trinkets. I suppose you do have a cave now. A pile of gold is only natural to follow.
Said, no different from my nature than you are from your own. Said, just met and you're already being catty.
She gives you a very lopsided grin and she exposes more of her teeth. I do enjoy a bit of deadpan humor. You're a very bold man.
So, I simply am not very good at playing the game, so I choose not to.
Resilience over adaptability.
I adapt just very slowly for my superiors.
I'm not questioning the decision. It makes a great deal of sense coming from one such as yourself. I just merely wish to meet my new would-be helper in the flesh. She smiles.
And pray tell, what other task did you wish to give me?
You assume much of me?
Oh, you
Simply
stated that
came
I'm...
down here to inspect you. Do you want to actually make an intelligence? What would this be? Intelligence wits -4 dice check.
I'll do that. I think actually I can't roll, and I don't really want to spend more willpower. Because my intelligence is 2 and my wits is 2, so yeah. She does negate my pool. I do not understand her nature. Julian will just simply say, it's like, I'm so used to Cloak and Dagger, it's like, I wouldn't assume that you would want to meet me in person. Just give me a note that says, be here at this time, and have this in your pocket.
Surely you're used to those requests at this point.
Could you repeat that?
She said, surely you're used to those sorts of requests at this point.
And goes, I am. Said, people showing up in person to meet me, people that see me personally is a bit different. At least in the sense that, since she was already playing the Shadow Games, the fact that she's willing to expose herself is a bit odd to him.
She shrugs. Well, I have all I need to know. She will pluck a card from underneath her dress. I would be happy to invite one such as yourself to my little galas. I think you would be able to make more of it than most would.
He grabs it respectfully, and says,
And I know I certainly will.
I promise to be a perfect gentleman.
Anything less from my guests, and they generally don't walk out through the front door.
Good to know.
It wouldn't be much of a private little gala if people could just muscle their way in.
But so you seem like a woman that likes to live on the edge. May enjoy a little chaos.
You're more correct than perhaps you understand.
You don't bring off the bravado of simply a person with a lot of power, a personal power. I feel real confidence from you.
You know what they say, fake it until you make it.
But as the statement just states, till you make it. So, but I appreciate your invitation. Plan to be there. I said, and I plan not to cause any major problems, unless obviously I am molested first.
Well then, Dr. Goodman, congratulations. I won't keep you any longer. I believe you're looking forward to me.
That's bad. So, he looks at her a bit more with scrutiny when she says that specifically. But he does nod, and he will present her hand to her to shake.
She will shake it very daintily.
I'm a little surprised by that response, but he doesn't think much of it.
Living it for real.
Oh, it kind of looks weird. Alright, give me my copium back.
This is my copium.
Related shooting.
Don't give it.
This is my copium. Talk normally. You're so quiet.
He will, respectfully nod his head to the people in the room as he leaves. And he does, before he leaves the premise, he looks at the invitation and sees if it has. That I don't remember. I was told that it happens in a secret location, but I don't know exactly where it is. I'm curious if the invitation does actually have some type of riddle or something to give me a location.
No, it merely has. A key to what appears to be some sort of dark web group chat. So it's sort of like how you have those rather long codes to get into Zoom calls and Skype calls and chats like that. It's sort of like that.
Okay.
I think with that, as you leave with this curious looking card and your newfound invitation, I think we can end the scene there. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. We'll see you all next time. Goodbye.